parliamentary president, I was just trying to remember with Bronwyn, Ursula von Leyen, was guested into our government last week to sign, for Mr Albanese, to sign a deal, a trade deal with Europe that I just found extraordinary, that attached us back to certain policies that we were trying to get away from, the net zeros. I just found it strange, Bronwyn.
Well, she's the president of the European Union, and she was allowed to address the Parliament.
Correct.
And I mean, governments have tried to negotiate free trade agreements with Europe for many, many years, and they always fail. And in my view, it should have failed again.
Because it's one way, it's more their way than our way.
You've got to understand that the European Union, their farmers are all paid, they're all subsidised.
Yes.
They used to talk about their lakes of wine and their mountains of butter and their and so on. So they have always had not only tariff protections, but they're the masters of non-tariff protection as well. And we will never get a fair deal for our agricultural products to enter that market. And I mean, you've heard it pointed out how the deal they've done for beef only actually takes them back the situation they were in before they took away the right we had for beef entry and gave it to the United States in Trump's first.
Correct. Yeah.
Can we
negotiation.
just, now that you've raised an issue I want to talk about. That's okay. We are one of the most well-resourced countries in the world. Uranium, coal, petroleum. I find it difficult to understand. I mean, I do appreciate what WA has done with their gas, where they have 10% put aside for local consumption. Why do we not have our oil 10% at least put aside for our local consumption, for our local refinement? Why aren't we in a position to at least keep some of our resources for ourselves? Margaret Thatcher nationalised the coal industry because she said that coal belonged to the people of England. Why does our resources not belong to us?
Well, they do, but we've had a series of governments who've made decisions that, with hindsight, should have been made differently. We used to be self-sufficient in oil. Bass Strait was our main source. But we've had governments who don't want to, in Donald Trump's words, drill baby drill.
Yeah.
I mean, we have got masses of gas, ventilation. We've got coal for 300 years, and we don't use it to our benefit. This obsession that this Labor government has with renewables, where they lie through their teeth and tell us it's a cheaper form of energy when it clearly is not. The amount of money that is being squandered in duplicating the grid with poles and wires, and the inherent instability of it is just breathtaking. What this current war in the Middle East has shown is how dependent the world is, and Australia in particular is, on fossil fuels. We run on diesel.
Correct.
And although some people are going to go out and buy electric cars for running around in because they can't get petrol and it's expensive, it doesn't take away from the fact that we have to use all of our resources. Now, we used to have a situation where we had high wages, but we had cheap electricity, which was the offset that allowed us to compete. Now we still have high wages, but we have hugely expensive energy. We need other coal-fired power stations. There are new versions of coal-fired power stations that have far fewer emissions than ever had before. And we have to embrace the fact the rest of the world is still using it, particularly China, where we have become so dependent on importing things from China, which is using our resources to make things that we're importing. And the solar technology is just one example.
Well, let's also also build some refineries. When we drill that oil, let us refine it here instead of sending it to Singapore and then buying it back. I mean, I don't understand that.
Well, one of the reasons was it became so expensive to refine here. And I can remember that we used to have strikes where
Yes.
the unions would go on strike and we'd be into rationing petrol. And so over the time they've allowed it to go from 8 to 2. Those two are now working flat out.
Yeah.
So we need to revisit all these things, and instead of all that money being wasted, destroying the countryside, ruining forests, ruining people's land, productive agricultural land with these poles and wires, which are only going to last, 20 years?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All those windmills, for instance. And they all have to be fed with oil as well to work.
So why isn't the Liberal Party talking about this? Why aren't they saying, Australia, guys, we need to start looking after ourselves? At the moment, the way things are, we have shown the world that Australia is defenceless. We do not keep the resources we need for ourselves to be able not only feed ourselves, but defend ourselves. If war broke out tomorrow, we wouldn't have the diesel to fill the ships.
Well, that's exactly what's happened now. So we can only hope that blocking of the Strait of Hormuz is resolved. That's 20% of the world's supply. There is obviously 4/5 coming from elsewhere, and of course America, because of Trump, is self-sufficient in energy.
America's self-sufficient. China is depending on that oil, and it's got ships off Iran wondering what the hell's going on. But then, at the end of the day, what are we? We're nothing. On the world stage, we're nobodies.
Well, we're not quite nobodies. We are in the national alliance, in the alliance with the United States. We are almost like
Trump called us small potatoes.
Yes. but
Small potatoes.
Nonetheless, we're very important
Yeah.
in that alliance. The Five Eyes has been a very important part of our defence strategy
Yes.
since the war, and that's in bad repair at the moment. I mean,
But the Five Eyes is all about intelligence, so.
Well, it's about a lot. I won't say any more
Oh,
than
okay.
that. If I did, I might have to shoot you.
Oh, my God. Don't do that.
We're going to have another break, give Bronwyn a bit of a break from Vinny and I
Before I get shot.
grilling her and poor old Vinny getting shot. So comment on us, join us, submit, do whatever you want, but come back and join us, please.